Hello, hello. Thank you for having us here. This is really special occasion. It's not Christmas yet, but as it is, so here is our present to you. Finally, we have our co-founders here, but most importantly, Josipa is here. This one is going to be special. That's why. So, yeah, we're going to talk about a few things that has been happening recently. Marko's here. He's going to tell us a bit about development of the product, and Josipa, she's going to tell us actually where she has been all the time. So, Josipa.
Yes, so hello everyone. We've just concluded that it was 6 months since our last AMA in this particular setup. So you probably missed us, we've also missed you. Yeah, so where have we been, or actually me specifically, where I've been for the past couple of months and weeks? Where there's been a lot of conferences. I think we've shared some via our social media, so both on Twitter and on Telegram. So first we had the Wolf conference, which was quite an interesting conference. We had a panel of, as they called us, cryptomaniacs. So it was all ladies in blockchain, different colleagues from different parts of the industry. We were really discussing crypto, inclusivity, the current changes of the market, what has been happening, and what everyone's doing about the bear market. Then actually, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we had Leap Summit, also an interesting crypto panel, where we were discussing essentially what can we do to attract more people that are interested in crypto, and in particularly in places where fintech meets crypto. So how can we make it a bit less terrifying for new entrants, especially women who are just finishing their university and really like the field but don't know how to enter it. And then lastly, I think I was on Bloomberg Adria the past week, discussing everything that's been happening from FTX, but then also lastly it was BlockFi and the domino effect of bankruptcies that have been happening recently.
So also you basically wrote about for Sifted?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big news corporation. And also, are you writing on a book or something like that?
Yes, on the subscription economy. So we wanted to keep, let's say, our knowledge base and also everything that's been happening with the industry, from the current trends all the way to the recent new models that we're seeing on the market, but also really the entire pendulum swing from everyone's having subscriptions to now everyone's sort of in a place where we feel that the market is saturated and no one really knows how to manage it. So there will be an ebook covering all of these issues, kind of from
buy the book, is going to be
for free.
Exactly,
buy the book, it's going to be for free. And really the point is to give a guide for both consumers but also companies, because for a very long time the entire playbook was if you want to get a better valuation, what do? You change to a subscription model, and what you do is that you just shove them down consumers' throats. And now the sentiment on the market has been changing, and people have been waking up that doing that aggressively is not necessarily what's best for both the companies and consumers in the long run. And that's really all what Revuto is about giving the power back to consumers. Yep. So we will be doing a bit of a kind of knowledge base on everything you have to know for the subscription economy in that ebook.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I just want to mention that you would be more often here as well as Marko, but both of you're not living in the same city as I am. So we are from, all of us, we are from capital of Croatia, but you're living on the coast. And Marko actually flew in 2 weeks ago or a week?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago from Silicon Valley.
Yes.
Okay. Marko, tell us a bit about development, where we are.
Yes, being the Revuto CTO, it is my duty to inform you. The good news actually that I can share with everyone is that our development of the product, the main product that we were talking about for quite a while now, and that's the virtual debit cards tied to accounts, tied to subscriptions. That's done both in terms of product development and legally. And we are now waiting for the right moment where the product is tested enough to have it released as version 4 of Revuto mobile app. The market, all kinds of markets are right now in downturn, including, sadly, the cryptocurrency market, but also securities and others. So I think we are going to use the time in the next month or so to properly test the app, and the release is expected during Q1 of 2023.
Yeah. So I have to add that I'm actually happy and glad that we postponed the release of the app, because the December, even like November, was a complete shitstorm regarding the crypto and everything. So fear is among people, and I believe that December is going to be the slowest one. We see the engagement still coming down, even through our own channels, and I'm talking to all different also projects and founders, and they see the same pattern. So I think that beginning of the next year should be much better to launch the product. Okay, so yeah, you said, and I'm going to emphasize that again. So luckily we are actually done with development.
Yes, however, we are not wasting our time.
Yeah,
we are preparing something. There will be a next release of our app even before the version 4 with the virtual debit cards. We have decided to include something that we've been talking about for a while. That's fiat to crypto on-ramp. We have partnered with a very interesting company called Banksa, Australian, I believe. They will, together with us, allow Revuto customers to purchase ADA and later Revu tokens. Right in the app, right in the Revuto app.
Yeah.
So no more going to the exchanges.
Yeah, and the good thing about Banksa is that we heard that recently. We had a call with them like a few days ago, so that they're working closely with IOHK on actually supporting not just us, but also other Cardano native tokens which are listed on centralized exchanges. So hopefully we're going to be able soon after also release the option to buy.
They're a solid, serious partner.
Cardano native tokens directly through our app as well, and then also we're going to use them not only to on-ramp but to off-ramp crypto to fiat when we are doing top up those virtual debit cards. Okay, so before I'm going to talk a bit about Cardano Summit, which was a major thing lately, I'm going to leave you to tell us a bit about RealFi Alliance, which we are now part of, and which I think is a really big thing, especially for us. Finally, we find our spot within the Cardano. It's a big incentive, and it's something that I think it's future for the crypto. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, so finally a spot that really works with our ethos and our company's DNA. And the entire purpose of RealFi is to leverage the real-world use cases, because really real-world use cases is what will bring us to mass adoption. And in order to get there, the main two components is having a Web 2 style user experience while leveraging Web 3 technology to power it. And really the entire purpose is to have an alliance of like-minded companies so that together we're stronger and we can work on securing these building blocks at our Cardano level. And really what we want to do is to use these real-world use cases and then leverage business models that already exist so that consumers already know, love, and use. And then the blockchain as a technology is really hidden, and it's the underlying tech that will allow us to build these superior products. So it isn't to try to, in a way, educate the end user on what a blockchain is, how they can use it, but it's to use the existing level of service that they're used to, and then to use those business models and user experiences in order to deliver superior products. And that's all what RealFi is about.
Yeah, that's really awesome because I was there and I participated in the meetings, and we had a workshop as well, and then we got noticed from the Cardano Foundation also. Some of the really huge projects are part of the consortium. So Revuto as a main player. Then we have Florian from Num. Those guys are trying to tokenize the music rights. Also we have Empava and much more are gonna join us. Actually, we already had the first meeting last Friday. We're gonna have the same meeting this Friday. The call was recorded, so I believe that it's already out there. So you can also check RealFi Consortium on LinkedIn. Soon we're gonna open the Twitter account as well, and some other things. The web page is up and running. Discord channel is also up and running. So whoever wants to join can join and check what we are up to. And this is really huge because finally, you know, people are going to hear about us, and we, in a way, are taking a different approach. We're not just trying to make crypto products, trading products. So we all agree that crypto or blockchain needs more customers or consumers, not traders. And that is where we fit in. So now I'm going to talk a bit about the Cardano Summit. So I was there. I apologize, I didn't do the recap yet. I have cool photos and I'm gonna write the story about it, but it was really tough for me for the last week because I was sick. Something hit me like a train, some kind of a flu, I don't know, maybe even a COVID. So luckily my CFO was with me. He drove me there and he drove me back. It was a 10-hour drive. We met with almost all projects or founders that were there. I was part of that RealFi panel, and also I had 10-minute presentation of Revuto, which sadly didn't went as it's supposed to, because I don't know how they took my first presentation, which was basically a draft, and then I wasn't prepared for those slides. I had much better slides. I already shared those slides immediately after the presentation with the community, so it was a much different presentation, and I wanted to put emphasis on the virtual debit cards, on our staking center, and opportunity to, you know, get base yield when staking ADA. Again, the core feature, that subscription management, but in the end, yeah, I think it didn't went all to shit. But yeah, it wasn't maybe the best presentation. Still, a lot of people saw us. Now we are getting the emails. Again, today we had a call with actually IOHK directly about, we can talk a bit later about that, about the Hydra heads and how they want to use us as a main example of the project that really needs low fee or no fee payments and very fast peer-to-peer micro payments actually. And you know, we believe that Revuto is actually, we are the payment system, we are excellent opportunity for them to showcase the technology. But now a little bit more about the Cardano Summit. So I was there. It was a 3-day thing, so Saturday, Sunday and Monday. We came there on Friday. It was very intensive because every day we had the meetings, and also later on we had the program. It was always some kind of, I don't know, like gala dinner or some kind of a gathering. A lot of things to talk about. What is most important to say is that I got the feeling that many crypto projects are in pain now. They're in problems with funding. We heard recently Ardana going down, some other projects as well. There are some rumors about Meld. I know more about it, but I'm not going to talk about it. I hope that those guys are going to make it. But still, yeah, a lot of projects are trying to raise funds to continue their things, and I believe that many of those didn't actually use the time to develop something during all that period, even during the bull run. Now it's gonna be a hard year next year. I don't think that the market is gonna completely rebound, so it's gonna be again really tough for many projects. And yeah, we, as mentioned before, I'm always telling that we need to actually get ourselves ready for the next bull cycle, which I think is most important thing to do, to survive and then to be ready when it matters. So to get back to what we did, we spent most of time with the guys from Genius Yield. I'm sure that you're aware that they yesterday actually opened their public sale. It's a token sale on their own platform. I checked data now. They sold 60% of their first round. They have 3 rounds. Why is that important for us? Is because we are in a way really close to those guys. We are helping each other, and also I'm part of that Genius X advisory program. But more importantly, we have their tokens. We invested in those guys, and you are expecting those tokens as well. So according to these prices that they announced, I believe that we're gonna actually, not I believe, I know that we need to redistribute 100,000 against tokens, which translates to, according to these prices, to almost $80,000. So this is how much you're gonna actually get as a reward from us. When? So Philip told me that they did a token generation event on December 3rd, if I'm right. So we are expecting to get those tokens a month after the token generation event. So as soon as they send us, that's going to be like the first week of January. As soon as they send us those tokens, we're going to redistribute those tokens through our staking center to you, and I believe that you're going to be happy with it. We bought those tokens under really good conditions, and it's going to be opportunity to earn some money. I don't know what is going to be the price after they close their IDO or ICO. There's going to be 3 rounds, and the last round is going to be closed on 20th of December. So token distribution is going to go from 21st to 24th. So we'll see how that's going to develop. Obviously, it's not a lot of tokens that are going to be released. Just around 3% of the total token supply. So it should be a good opportunity for you to earn something. If not now, then in the future. Marko, let's go back a bit about that call today. So I was happy, that they actually reached out to us. Yeah,
I was very happy that we were in fact considered to be the first that were called. I listened for the 10 minutes, and at minute 11 I realized we need to try this. So the decision that we made today already was to take their development kit, and we are going to try it on our own end. Our lead developer already knows. So part of, while we are waiting for our crypto markets and generally situation to get better, we are again not going to waste, and we are going to test out the micropayments, and that's the basic enablement platform for our future, what we promised, the microloans and micropayments. All the situations where tiny amounts of money needs to be moved without paying the chain fees.
Yeah. So, and the interesting term that I heard today was semi-custodial solution. So they talked about that, and I said, yeah, this is now the tricky time, because we saw all those services going down, and we said that we are going to switch to custodial solution because we need that to be able actually to send those cashbacks and referral rewards, which are small amounts. But now today, when I heard about the semi-custodial solution and about the hydro heads and everything, so yeah, I was pleased about it.
I am actually looking forward to our AMA, let's say 2 months from today. Mm-hmm. I would love to be able to report out the results of our tests, because I believe that's going to be critical for us making good on our promises.
Yeah, still they mentioned that today, that they're also like, it's going to take some time for them as well, to do all those things. They have an extensive roadmap about regarding that hider heads. They send out the documentation today, so we're gonna check it out. I'm not the tech guy.
We are as important to them as they are important to us. Perfect. We are a perfect use case.
Yeah.
That's why I say can't wait to report out.
Yeah. Okay, cool. When we mentioned that topic, custodial, non-custodial, decentralized, centralized, Josipa was talking about those things on Bloomberg Adria, and also Josipa mentioned some good idea about us maybe doing some kind of live YouTube video where people could engage with us, but it's going to be set up internally between our team members, and we're going to talk about those topics because there's some interesting topics and points of view on those topics, especially from me. Also, we have always discussions between our team members because I have my own opinion about even the DeFi, how it works. So can you tell us a bit about that, what you had in mind?
Absolutely. I mean, we're definitely living through interesting times. As Marko and Vedran both mentioned, it's reflecting in what's happening with securities, with crypto, really with the macro situation. So yes, the idea was to have these more of an informal format of calls where we discuss what we can broadly call the state of crypto or the state of the market, and really where everyone can just chime in with their perspectives. And as Vedran mentioned, on our internal calls, we frequently get into very heated and interesting discussions where people, as you mentioned, clearly have a different point of view, not necessarily conflicting, but really a lot has been happening and there's a lot of moving parts. And you know, you have one camp saying that everything went bankrupt because, you know, there's a lot of Ponzi-like schemes. There's a lot of people with just bad intent and malicious intent, really. But then on the other side, you have people who are saying, as long as we have centralized setups, you will always have these types of scandals and just embezzlement of large amounts of funds because you can never trust one person to make that decision and to handle your funds. But there's a lot of in between. And the idea is to really have these open discussions while we're in a particular state of the market where directly we're not really triggered or affected by what was happening with these bankruptcies. But it does reflect a lot on what the entire outside world thinks of both blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and our entire market segment. So yes, the idea is to have these open discussions, to keep them informal, to invite both our team, but also some wider team members, perhaps even people that are in partner or similar like-minded companies, and just to really address the state of the market and keep it as open as possible.
Yeah, I have to add, again, I'm going to reflect to Cardano Summit. So I met with a lot of founders and I was amazed how many people from the business don't understand some basic things. So for instance, you know, there was a topic even on RealFi. It's not alliance, it's consortium, because we decided not to go with that term alliance because there is a DeFi alliance and those guys, they weren't so keen about inviting us to that alliance. And now we said, you know, we're going to do it differently and we're going to allow everybody to join us. And there were a lot of people from DeFi alliance actually at that meeting. And I mentioned that, you know, that we applied, that they never actually accepted us because they said we are not the DeFi. Now I confronted them and they said, you know, no, there was a different reason and blah, blah, blah. And also I heard that they have their own problems internally. But to get back to the point, so the topic was off-ramping and on-ramping, because even when there was a mention about Africa and then somebody said, you know, yeah, those guys are there like getting ADA, but they cannot actually use ADA for anything because nobody's accepting ADA for the payment. And they said, you know, we need on-ramp and off-ramp. And those things cost money. And they said, you know, we maybe should find somebody who should build that and fund it with through the catalyst, you know. And I said, guys, but there are so many services already out there which are regulated. It's a hard business to do, and that's why it costs money to be listed on those services the same way as you pay to be listed on centralized exchanges. They say, yeah, blah blah blah, and then I said to those guys, but are you listed anywhere, on centralized exchanges? Because from many of us, there just few companies actually paid to be listed on centralized exchange. And why I ask so is because you cannot off-ramp actually if your token is not listed anywhere. So those services are not working with decentralized exchanges, which are actually, okay, they're fine, they're decentralized, but they're not so liquid, they're not so efficient or effective when you need to exchange something, and they're not even cost effective. So this is where centralized exchanges coming into the place, and that was just one of the topics. But I actually got an impression that people don't know much about some stuff that they should know about.
I can't wait to hear the conversation that we are announcing.
Exactly, and I think
I'll take part and ask questions if needed.
Yeah, I think the entire point of these formats of discussions is really to debunk some common myths, as you say, even people at quite high positions within the community. Sometimes either appear to lack some basic knowledge or they just have a very different view on it. But there's also, as I mentioned earlier, quite a few in-betweens. So there's a lot of nuance in these conversations. And I think once we have them, they'll be very interesting both to watch and to participate in.
Yeah, so, and also I said, that I'm going to do actually an explanation how DeFi works and how that locking up tokens in smart contracts to actually put them as collateral and get out stable coins work, and why this is actually helping the ecosystem to boost numbers, but actually it makes the market even more volatile. And also I wouldn't say it's Ponzi, but it has some kind of elements of a Ponzi setup. And I believe, at least my personal opinion is that those setups are not helping much. And although, okay, let's say that we need them, but this is not everything that we need. So we need projects like Revuto, we need the projects like even the Gnome and things like that. Also, there was a talk about digital identity on chain. I'm going to write about it as well. There is a progress about that, but still also there are centralized services like KYC providers doing that. I don't think that we should reinvent business. Those are regulated things, heavy regulated things. So making your digital identity depend only on those social networks is not going to help much. Still, somebody needs to check your real identity, your real documents, even the proof of address and things like that. So it's a right move. It's a move in the right direction. There is
Are you talking about the little blue check mark?
And I can talk about that as well. So.
Which is really white on the blue background.
Yeah, but there is on Cardano, there is a project called IMX. So those guys are trying to work on a digital identity. So yeah, move in the right direction, but still, far from what actually we need. Interestingly, there is no a lot of questions on the chat.
Is chat disconnected or?
Is the chat connected? Can you please just check? Maybe I missed something, but yeah. Okay. Oh, we have a lot of questions. Okay. So we're gonna go through some questions. I'm just gonna answer briefly also the question which is repeating all the time about the Arstonaut t-shirts. So they're finally done. We had some delays because we were late, and then those guys are now in a really messy time because of the advent and everything. So many companies are printing out t-shirts and all possible things. So it was really hard for us to make those prints, and also we were deciding what to do. Either we're gonna make a few of those designs or just one design, or maybe even do some other things as well. I'm not gonna talk about those things because we had some great ideas, but then eventually we went with the basic idea out, because that can be done in a shorter period of time. So to make story short, long story short, hopefully, I believe that you're gonna get all your T-shirts before the Christmas. Somebody mentioned Christmas last time, and I said somehow, I said no, it's gonna be before, but then somehow it's gonna happen that you're gonna get them on Christmas. But so it is how it is. Yeah.
Beginning of AMA.
Okay, let's go through some questions. Josipa, do you see any interesting question? Yeah, you see. Yeah, cards are ready. So are DeFi setups coming with the virtual debit cards? No, they are not. So we're gonna first, there is also like a roadmap, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna actually change the roadmap on our webpage. We're gonna also put out the it's like adjusted, or I would say the newest version of the white paper out. And also there's going to be a small roadmap about virtual debit cards, because we are still discussing, but I believe that we're going to issue them to all the UK and European. Yeah, Marko is doing like this. Yes. So we are not going to wait. Once when we launch them, they're going to be available for everybody from the European Economic Area at once.
Minus Germany.
Minus Germany and Malta, I believe. And Austria.
And Austria, sorry,
Austria.
and Malta.
Yeah. But there is also a roadmap how we're going to do it, because not in the beginning, we are not going to have a premium business model. Marko, tell us a bit about that.
Okay. Yeah. We are going to start with what we call freemium business model, which implies no payments to us. We are going to just give you your virtual debit cards, 3 at a time, and the virtual debit cards can be used to pay your subscriptions with a small, what we call protection fee.
Yeah, and then we're going to follow up that with the premium business model, and then after that we're going to allow actually people to top up those virtual debit cards with crypto. So there's going to be gradually we're going to open some of those features. We have some. So when is the Banksa integration coming? So that's going to be in December, Marko.
Yes, it's very close. The mere fact that we are talking about Banksa, naming them as our partners, means we are close. We are just about to sign the agreement with them. Code is pretty much all done. We need maybe a week or two to test, but before the end of the year it will be out.
Code is done. I already saw Mario showed me, how it works on the front and everything. We are just now waiting for the production.
This is otherwise this is nothing new. We have been working on it for months. We just weren't talking too much about it because we were still assessing what goes first on our roadmap.
Miroslav, it's too soon after crash to use the word leverage. Gives me shivers. Yeah, that shit, leverage trading is killing crypto, because in that setup, 90% people or more are basically losing money. It's the setup is like, it's just for the high risk trading, and all those DeFi lending protocols are nothing more than actually used for leverage trading. So yeah, we're gonna talk about those things, and we're gonna talk about, I wanna actually explain, Marko, you already did that, our setup, which is called micro lending and borrowing, which is quite different. It's not gonna use the collateral, and also it's gonna be sustainable setup. More closer to those setups that we see in traditional financial systems with banks, but those systems work. So credit scoring and things like that.
Yes. This will all be part of our next year's roadmap.
Shirt, okay. Art token airdrop. We're not gonna do it. We're gonna actually put out the new revision of the white paper, even for the DEX. we're not now even sure when the DEX is going to be launched, but for sure it's not going to be launched in Q1. We're going to see how things are going to develop, maybe Q2, maybe Q3. We're going to see. For DEX, it's really important. Liquidity is the key, and launching the DEX without being able to get liquidity from other teams or even community members is, it would be devastating. Josipa, this is interesting question. So you have any? So hey, Josipa, agreed on $2 Revu deal. You know what I mean, right? Do you remember about that deal? I do.
I don't, but
I do.
Remind us.
Yeah, maybe we can.
Josipa is now, she's a married woman. Come on, guys. It's not the same anymore. It was funny maybe before, but
maybe.
Josipa, yeah, get pregnant soon and then you're gonna avoid those questions. But still, I'm in the game.
Exactly.
Nobody asked for me. Or maybe Marko, we should maybe switch that cursed $2 curse to Marko.
We will expand. We will move the target and expand the $2
Marko,
bet.
I'll take it in honor and appreciation of yours.
If we two get naked, the token will flunk immediately.
Goodness. Vedran.
But at least Marko is doing exercise
Twice a week.
Twice a week, yeah. It shows.
Thank you very much. Love you too.
When will the tokenomics start to benefit Revu token holders? Yeah, that's an awesome question. As soon as we engage the premium business model, that's the first thing. That's going to be huge things for us. And then when we engage topping up virtual debit cards with Revu tokens, we're not going to allow anything else to be used for as a top-up source. So not even ADA. ADA is going to come second or even third. Maybe the second is going to be some kind of a stable coin on Cardano. And then we're going to do those incentives which are not like lending brokers, but actually stake Revu, buy and stake Revu to use rewards to repay your monthly expenses.
Oh, this will be in the app.
What
Vedran is talking about. This will be in the app. We are not starting with that.
Yeah.
We are starting with the basics.
To be the basics, but still those things are going to be the ones that are going to help tokenomics of Revu token and eventually price of the token to go up. Can we get business and private account separation in one Revuto app? That is an awesome question. We already talked about that. So Marko, can you tell us a bit about that?
In theory, that would be possible. We need to have demand.
Yeah.
Because it takes time to carefully do that.
Yeah. But I think that's a really awesome question, and that B2B revenue stream is something that we are aiming at as well.
Clearly, just while they are looking for more questions, the business type of account there would imply all of the seed. It's not just a copy of what we already have, right? Totally new set of features.
Yeah.
That's why it can't come just overnight.
Question, are we planning to incorporate JET in our app? I believe that the stable coins are really important for the whole Cardano ecosystem, and they're going to actually boost the TVL and the token prices and everything because of the lending protocols. Still, stable coins are also important for the stability of the payments and everything, and we're going to actually support them with our app. Basically, we cannot do a micro lending and borrowing without the stable coins. Even the some other staking incentives that we're gonna do. So stable coins are gonna be part of the Revuto app. Hopefully we're gonna be able to do our own stable coin. I'm not promising anything, but as soon as JET is gonna be out, we're gonna support it. Although I have my also personal opinion about algorithmic stable coins. There is a stable coin USDA coming from Emurgo in January, so that is over collateralized stablecoin, which is supported also by IOHK. I think that's a much better solution, more robust. And we now see that Indigo has a stable coin out. It's available. It's picking up, but slowly. I know also why. It's. I wouldn't say it's a bad setup. I would even say that it's better setup maybe than Jet, because Indigo is mixing the indexes of 3 stable coins, USDT, USDC, and I believe BUSDT, to peg the price to average price of those 3 coins. So, and it's also over collateralized. So yeah, we'll see how that's gonna develop, but for sure, long story short, we're gonna support it. I need to talk less, I know. Josipa, again, $2, nothing from you. How many VDCs is issued and used amount do you need to break even for the... That's an amazing question. So unfortunately, Mario is not with us. I would love to have him one day here. He's our CFO. I believe that there would be many questions for him, but he's afraid to speak because he doesn't speak very well English. At least he thinks so. Who is in Revuto speaking English well? Come on.
Everyone is speaking quite well, which is demonstrated in these AMAs.
No, I don't think so, but okay. You are speaking well, I'm not. But to get back to the question, I believe somewhere around 1 million, we said, oh, no. That was, so I had that spreadsheet. It is 1 million users, but not active users.
No, active users way lower than that.
Yeah.
So when we clearly, the question is apt, good for right now. So what happens is we have the spreadsheets that talk about both the premium and freemium users. So let's start with freemium users. With freemium users, it's less than 300,000. If we put premium users in there, it's, in fact, that's the number I know.
I'm going to actually check it right now because I have
financials.
Yeah, I have financials.
Projections, yeah.
But please continue, Marko.
It's 129,000. Now that is contingent upon several other factors, which is the average price of the subscription that we are talking about. Clearly, the pricier the subscriptions, the lower the number.
Yeah, so I have exact numbers here. I cannot, Can you zoom it in? No. It's going to be really hard, huh? So, okay, so this is for the first year. And for during the first year, this
goes to month 12 and month 13 actually is
exactly
the last column.
Exactly, but I'm gonna go now to this chart actually, which is really the most important.
So this is something that we have worked since early 2021. In fact.
So first year is, I believe, minus year. Can you zoom it? Oop. And by the end of the next year, we should have 1 million registered users. Now we have 360,000. But as Marko said, we need to take care of active users. And then this projection is based on 7% of premium users. So by
meaning
then,
percentage of premium users in total number of users.
Yeah. So we should get break even by the end of the next year, or possibly early.
The sooner we come out with premium features and subscription, the better the outcome.
Exactly. Yeah. So the premium business model is key for success of Revuto. I can maybe share some numbers, those on our social media channel, but although, to explain everything, it would you would have to get context about those numbers. So I'm not sure if
the part of the spreadsheet that you showed is just like the lower 2% of rows.
Yeah.
It's really large. There are plenty variables that go into these kinds of predictions on our revenue.
Yeah. Yeah, but we are taking a lot of attention to those things, details. You did all that cost fee structure for the debit cards, which is really a huge thing. It's really complicated.
It is. So the costs to us are so many. Cost per card, cost per month, like the base cost, then a premium cost for this many customers, this many cards. Since we are giving out one card per account, not one card for all, that multiplies the cost by 3 in this case, because our freemium users can only get 3 cards.
Yeah. Question about the decentralized staking solution in the future. So, yeah, we are gonna open that. I even had a discussion with Steven from Y Finance. He offered us decentralized staking using the smart contracts. But basically, what would that mean? Nothing very different than we already have, just much more expensive for us. So in that setup, we would actually need to use his APIs and integrate it with our front end on the mobile app, and then also pay him to use his non-custodial thing to actually redistribute Revu tokens to you under the conditions that we set up through the smart contract. We already do that by using the code, the algorithms. It's not done manually, so we already did all of that, but it's not on-chain. That's the only difference. I think that you shouldn't be afraid about your funds, because our staking center, again, it's robust. Those other lending protocols, they depend on the market and everything, but we already allocated those funds for you. They're waiting for you, and there is nothing too risky there. The only thing that's a bit risky is our fund thing, but again, we are buying those tokens, investing in those tokens under really good terms. Even with the Genius Yield, we bought them for almost 3 times less. I have to admit, it was not a secret. We bought them for 0.28 cents or something like that. So yeah, so we are profiting from this, and then we are redistributing the profit to our stakers. And that's for now all. When other projects open their protocols, then maybe we're gonna do some other staking opportunities. But again, it doesn't matter if it's DeFi or CeFi. Even if it's DeFi, it's risky. So I lost money on Anchor protocol. It was DeFi because of Terra Luna and that UST thing. So yeah, that's my answer to that. Josipa, do you want to take opportunity to say something or answer some question?
I think one of the interesting questions was, let me see. Can you talk a bit about marketing strategy and efforts being deployed when app version 4 and virtual debit cards are launched? That's an interesting question. I think in theory, we've imagined that entire moment in our roadmap to be that big bang when we deploy a lot of classical marketing strategies where we really want to, in a way, become a household name. And in theory, it was a moment where a lot of marketing budgets would be placed to just spread the word as far as possible. Given the current market conditions, a lot of our plans, when we now face them in this economic reality, just seem very counterproductive. So we just had to, as both Vedran and Marko explained, we had to open up our projections and really take a look at what is the reasonable return on investment we would get, even if we would deploy an incredible amount of both effort, resources, and cash to spreading the word. So what I think is a big trend for companies, both in our category, but also in this current condition, is to try and not rely as much on bought media and classical marketing, but try to switch the focus as much as it possible to product-led growth. So really all about empowering existing users to invite new users and use them as a way to spread the word. It's a much more cost-efficient way. It's our cost of acquiring a customer, so our CAC is much lower. As a result, our CAC to LTV, so cost of acquiring a customer and lifetime value, is just a much healthier ratio. So what we are doing, we do have certain plans, but we don't want to get out with any specific, as Vedran and both Marko said, with specific numbers, with specific plans, just because a lot of variables go in. And having this situation where there's a lot of volatility, just we may be doing a counter service both to our community, but also to us as a team. So the most likely scenario, what we'll be doing is relying, as I said, on product-led growth and making sure we've, in a way, leveraged our existing customer base. I know leverage is the problematic word, but leveraging in a way, not in terms of trading, but in terms of just making sure that our customers who are already our strongest component are the ones that are spreading the word on how the service is good, reliable, and it helps them save money. I would say if these economic conditions continue, we won't be doing any of the classical big B2C marketing schemes that we've maybe discussed 6 or more months ago.
Or a year ago,
or a year ago,
did a roadmap. And this is now there's an awesome question to conclude all of this. So how is Revuto placed financially to sail through this economic turmoil? I know you guys might have planned wisely, however, your response will help build the confidence. Yeah, so as you see, we are adjusting the plans, and the whole point of this is actually to survive and to have, as much as runway as possible. In a way, postponing virtual debit cards to Q1 is maybe somebody can say it's buying as a time, but in a way it is. I'm going to be honest with you, because once when we launch the cards, expenses are going to grow. So there are some things that we need to pay on a monthly basis when running such a setup. And we really don't want to put ourselves in a situation to go out with those virtual debit cards and then to barely wait or somehow survive the bear market. We need to be ready. We may have some announcements for the early next year to make regarding the funding. We'll see. We are working also on additional funding and things like that. But luckily, again, we are in a very good position because we had a really awesome raise. That's the first thing. The second thing is that during this time we build the product, we are done, so we don't have to put a lot of efforts into development anymore. Many other projects, they didn't do anything or they did something, and now when they need to deliver, they cannot, they need to invest. So we are in much better position compared to those guys. And yeah, we're gonna stay here. We're gonna be here. We are here. You see us. The team is in place. Yeah, we had some internal also restructures or things like that, but most of the team members are still with us. Yeah, we are taking care of those expenses. We are now, the burning rate is much lower now than it was before. Before it was even like too high, if you ask me. It was ridiculously high. So yeah, it is easy to spend a lot of money if you don't pay attention to those things. So hopefully this is gonna answer your question. So we are here, we're gonna be here, stay here, and yeah, the virtual debit cards are gonna come. And as Josipa mentioned, we're gonna be smart about it. We're not gonna spend now money on marketing, which wouldn't actually result in any new.
It wouldn't move the needle for any big metric for us. So as really Vedran just explained, we don't exist in isolation from the market conditions. So even if we were to splash on expensive fancy campaigns, really it wouldn't get us to a materially more different position than where we are at the moment. So although we will continue to do all the efforts, as you mentioned, we were continuous in both our development efforts but also marketing and promotion efforts. So throughout all of this happening in the market, the peak of the bear market, hopefully what we've been through, peak of the both bear and bull market, nothing stopped either in development or in marketing and promotion. But we are reasonably adjusting both of these things as we see fits best for the current sentiment, because I see there's a lot of discussions on whether some features should be launched sooner or faster. As mentioned, if we launch some of these features now, our fixed costs go higher, and there's no feasible way to then drop them afterwards. So we just need to...
Not just that we would spend that really important bullet or card, that ace in a sleeve in a really wrong time. And that it's all about that. You know, we need to show ourselves strong when it matters, when new investors in crypto customers are gonna come, and so that is when we actually need to push out all those great things. Will the token supply stay at 280 million? Yeah, it's gonna stay. Maybe the capital will be raised onto. So we're gonna announce those things. I'm not gonna mention anything because now it's really hard to talk about those things. Everybody's trying to raise money. VCs are even, trying to raise money. So it's tough for everybody. I just want to mention that we are not gonna be unlocking our tokens. We discussed that yesterday. Team tokens, and we're gonna prolong that for another year. So don't be afraid that somebody from the team.
Normally it would have been
January 1st. But we're gonna postpone those things for a year. To bring more confidence in you guys and to stay with us as long as it needs, actually, because the sun is gonna rise again. Do you have any plan to do payments by Revolut wallet? Revolut giving some cashback or any profits for inviting new buyers? Thanks. I'm not sure if I understand the question. Revolut wallet.
Maybe features like Revolut.
Features. Somebody mentioned that. So we're gonna have features like split cost for the Netflix, even to send Netflix as a gift to somebody. And we already talked before about that awesome setup with NFTs for subscriptions and how to monetize unused subscription periods. That's gonna be huge, but this is not something that we're gonna launch anytime soon. Probably by the end of the next year or somewhere there. That doesn't have anything to do with those NFTs for Netflix and Spotify, which are gonna actually come into the place as soon as we launch the virtual debit cards. And that's it.
If this is the bottom of the queue of questions.
Please.
If this is so problematic, will it be sustainable in next bear market? Problematic, I'm not sure what is problematic. The problematic thing is with any fintech product or startup is user growth and user acquisition. And many fintech companies, when they actually launched, they were not profitable. Many of those companies were not profitable even for the first 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So that's nothing. It's not something new.
Yeah, some of them have been around for a decade and they're still not profitable, and it's not on the horizon.
They have issues with user engagement. We are in subscriptions business, and people love their subscriptions. People love to watch their TV and read their newspapers. So user engagement is not a problem for us.
But in the end, profitability doesn't have anything to do with crypto. It's just about a business model that you're running behind the product. And we have several revenue streams which are gonna be opening with time, and that's how we're gonna raise the profitability for our business, and the token is just add on to whole setup. So yeah, that's it. It's been an hour. Yeah, we said 45 minutes.
A lot of topics.
Yeah.
Check your apps regularly in the next couple of months. You may see an invite for beta testing.
Yeah, that's true.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah, that's true. Also, KYC is coming also, but only for those who are gonna actually be requesting.
KYC will be per need basis.
Per need, yeah, exactly. So we did a bit of
Reshuffling
the thing, because KYC is a costly thing. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you for your time. Josipa, thank you for being here with us.
Thank both of you for inviting me. Thanks to the community for tuning once again to our monthly AMA.
Yeah. Thank you, Marko, and hopefully we're gonna see you sooner next time.
You will see me sooner next time. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe even like next month. Marko is gonna stay with us until
2 more AMAs.
2 more AMAs, and then he's gonna move back to Silicon Valley. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, and I would say good night, but it's not good night for everybody. Good luck.